communications class. Most people had no idea of just how shy I was. One of the things I feared the most was public speaking. And I thought if I took this class, I had a better shot at probably getting it worked out. The first assignment we had was a 2-minute speech. I don't know if you understand. Sometimes it's a long talk, particularly when we're being filmed. I remember my name came up. I had my paperwork. My teacher said we had to have everything on little cards. I wrote everything down. I knew my stuff. He called my name and suddenly something happened to my body. I made it up to the podium and I looked out and I said, oh, no. People were looking at me like they were expecting something. And all of a sudden, I couldn't remember what I was up there for. And my teacher said, anytime. And I'm thinking, sure. If I could only remember why I'm up here. Then he said, what's on your cards? I said, I'm not sure. Give me a minute. I looked down and I couldn't understand the words. Then I started to sweat. Then the most craziest thing happened. My legs shook like there was an earthquake. It was all on film. He felt so bad, he said, well, stop right here and take a break. They turned the cameras off and let the other students leave the room, and he said, are you okay? I said, no, I just want to go home. He said, well, you're on your way to being a great speaker. I said, well, maybe when he reviews the tape, he will have a whole different opinion about what just happened. This is not something that I like to do, because I like to talk. But this is something out of my box that I'm asked to do. So here we go. This is all God. We spent a lot of time in the closet. A lot of things happened. I spent the last couple of weeks in a lot of pain. I lost my sermon on Tuesday morning. I told Donna. Donna said she wasn't worried. I said, thank goodness somebody isn't. I went to the closet and I talked to the Lord and I said, okay, I'm not sure what your plan is, but just tell me what to do. I waited, went back, and there it was. So apparently he was testing me. So we're going to do this. But first I want to give you a church security bulletin. This is for our security person. Intelligence has recently uncovered a new wave of church terrorism that has rapidly affected the body of Christ. Intelligence has uncovered the names of the leaders behind this wave. Been gossiping, been critical, been absent, been sour. The fear is that these leaders have well-developed cell organizations in many churches across the nation. Intelligence also fears that there is more sisters in this wicked family just waiting for orders to invade. Since the first report, we have been notified by a number of church boards that they have identified 4 additional suspected terrorists working in different churches. 3 of the 4 have been apprehended. Been sleeping, been loafing, been drinking. All have been taken into custody. The pastor has advised us it is very difficult to find anyone fitting the description of the 4th cell member. Been working. However, he is convinced that anyone who looks like she's been working will be easy to spot. How will I be remembered? Spiritual legacy. At the end of our lives, we will all ask, did I live? Did I love? Did I matter? God's not going to look for your medals and your degrees, but He's going to look for your scars. If you were absolutely certain that you died exactly 1 year from now, who are the top 5 people that you want to invest your time in? Do you know what you would want to pass on after you're gone? Every day, without knowing it, we're passing on who we are, what we possess, and what we learn. We even pass on what we believe in and what sustains us through life. But ask yourself, am I passing on the stuff that matters? We all want to leave our children with more than we had, sometimes to the point of disabling and crippling them with material things. But what about the intangible, the kind of stuff that money cannot buy? Knowing that this is not our home, we live with little concern about what we pass on. We may be telling ourselves that we can figure it out later. The truth is, the average person will fail to pass on what matters the most to the people they care about the most. It is our God-given responsibility to transfer to our children and others the values that God has given to us. This is our spiritual legacy. Building a spiritual legacy requires we live a life of faith with transparency and pass down the character traits that God is refining in us. We are responsible for the next generation. It is important we live this foundation. We must remember as Christians we have 2 realities, one physical, the other spiritual. Our spiritual legacy should be guiding us through our physical legacy. Physical reality, not the other way around. We get to the place where we've been here too long. We have gotten comfortable. We're doing things that our parents would frown on with our children. We're doing things that we never imagined that we would say yes to our children. We want them to like us. We want them to think we love them by giving them things. But I don't know about you, but I'm trying to imagine when Jesus comes and I say, hold on, Lord, but this house, I was thinking maybe I could park it up in the front of the lawn in heaven. I was thinking maybe this car you gave me, I could take it with me. Or better still, how many know somebody who has passed away and was able to be buried in their house, their car, or their money? But it's important to us. It is something we hold to more than our spiritual legacy. We're a long way from where we're supposed to be. God's coming soon. It could be tomorrow morning. We have to ask ourselves, have I done what I have been asked to do? If you're looking at your children, it's time to say, Lord, help me to change what I've done. Our spiritual legacy means more than attending church. We want brownie points. I have to tell this story. My husband likes brownie points. He likes brownie points. I don't know about other husbands. So if he comes home and he washes the dishes, he's proud. You know what I'm saying, ladies? It's like he's conquered Hercules. He's like, I wash the dishes. And I'm thinking to myself, yes, but you haven't swept the floor. The list goes on. But we get the same way about things here, spiritual things. We get locked into believing that, well, if I'm 46 and I've been in church for this many years, I'm putting my time in. It should count for something. When we conquer tithe and offering, I say conquer it because we still have this belief that just doing it is going to get us brownie points. How about if we take on a ministry? We want people to know that we are leading this ministry, singing in the choir. And ladies, let me tell you, not only look beautiful, you want the money. And where's Casey? Got my heart, girl. We believe these things because we've gotten so comfortable. But Jesus isn't taking points. He's taking hearts. So we have to change where we're going. The Bible reminds us that we're going to reap what we sow. Now, I love to garden. I'm not your typical gardener. I know people in here that, got it down to the science, grow vegetables this big, feed a nation. I'm just grateful if I grow. My husband, brownie points, will go out and he will till the ground for me a couple, 3 or 4 times, waiting for me to get out there. And a couple of years ago, I'd been sick. Been sick a long time. He said, so when are you going to put some seeds out? On my deathbed, I'm thinking, I really don't care. But it was important to him, so I got mad. I said to my grandbaby, who was 4, I said, let's go outside. We're going to throw these doggone seeds in here. We're going to be done. So I went outside, dug holes, threw them doggone seeds in. I turned around, took his hand. I said, now go get the hose. Poor baby dragged the hose down. He hosed it off. I took his hand. We bowed our heads, and I said, Lord, forgive me. I threw them seeds in there. I got no idea who, what, where, but I'm truly grateful that you allowed me the ability to throw them in. Walked away. I think I weeded maybe a couple times. The Lord took over my garden and did for me what I could not do for myself. He taught me a lesson that even when I don't want to show up, He will always show up. It is so important for us to remember we are on a journey. This was never meant to be our home after sin. It wasn't. In Revelation, Christ is preparing to show up. He even sent His disciples out and told them, just go out and tell everybody. Tell them to be ready for me. I'm preparing a place. Mansions. Now I'm going to tell you why I'm not enticed by the mansion part. I think that's nice. Can't get a real visual, only because I know if I look at a mansion here, I'm not really sure the blueprints is what Christ had in mind, but I'm going to go with whatever He does. What I'm looking forward to is no more suffering. I don't want to attend another funeral. I don't want to go by the bedside of someone else who's sick. I am tired of children being exploited. I am tired of people hurting people. I want to be in a place where none of this is going to happen again. I want to be with people who want what I want. I want to be able to follow Jesus around so much that he may have to ask me, give me a small moment. I know y'all want to do the same thing, but I guess it's about who's in line first. I'm not really sure how he's going to do it. But I know that's what I look forward to, is being able to hang out with him. See, now I go to my closet and I talk to him. And that works. But the visual is what I want. Women's ministry means we are co-workers in the kingdom. We are not spectators. We are to play an active, vibrant, and vital role in the day-to-day function of the church. In the Bible, we see Spirit-empowered sisters ministering using the full spectrum of gifts. Besides evangelism, prophecy, teaching, discipleship, women were involved in countless other ministries, together with service with their families. We women are to evangelize. I'm going to say that again. We are called to evangelize. Case in point, the woman at the well. When Jesus freed her from her stuff, what did she do? Evangelism. See, when you get free from something, how do you feel? I'm going to tell you something. The only women can relate to this. Men, you ain't got to listen. But I remember my mother would come home and she'd rip out of her girdle and she'd say, oh, praise the Lord. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That freedom's going to be bigger than that. Because when we get freed from something, it consumes us. Does it not? Nobody can tell you anything. You're free. They don't have to. They can do what they want. But you're going to say to them, listen, in this space here, it doesn't matter. What you do in that space works for you. This is me. We have to learn to stop sabotaging one another. We need to learn how to stop hanging out where we're not celebrated. We need to stop hauling our history around and blocking our flow. It's time to forgive ourselves for mistakes. It's time to start over and know that we are worthy of the life we have dreamed of through Christ. We struggle with unifying our uniquenesses and our differences. We're jealous of one another. Instead of healing our pain, we hurt others. We measure ourselves against one another. We covet one another's gifts. We chew on other sisters like wolves chew on their prey. We soon learn to enjoy inflicting evil instead of love. Self-love grows nothing. Self-love has no spiritual foundation. Self-love is dangerous to a woman of God. It will limit you, it will destroy you, and it's going to doom you. Our personal pain needs healing. Our spiritual reality needs the Holy Spirit. It is time to stop expecting someone else to finish the work. Now, I don't know if you know, but someone else passed away. Our church was saddened to learn this week of the death of one of our most valued members, someone else. Someone's passing created a vacancy that will be difficult to fill. Els has been with us for many years, and for every one of those years, someone did far more than a normal person's share of the work. Whenever there was a job to do, a class to teach, or a meeting to attend, one name was on everybody's list. Let someone else do it. Whenever leadership was mentioned, this wonderful person was looked to for inspiration as well as results. someone else can work with that group. It was common knowledge that someone else was among the most liberal givers in the church. Whenever there was a financial need, everyone just assumed someone else would make up the difference. Someone else was a wonderful person, sometimes appearing superhuman. Well, the truth be known, everybody expected too much of someone else. Now, someone else is gone. We wonder what we're going to do. Someone else left a wonderful example to follow, but who is going to follow it? Who is going to do the things someone else did? When you ask yourself this year, remember, we can't depend on someone else anymore. God bless the soul of someone else. All of us have cups. What's in our cups depends on what we like to drink. If you are drinking everything but from the living water, you will discover that you will always be dehydrated. Our spiritual bodies will fail us. Years ago, I took a trip to see some friends in Mexico City. I had taken a whole week and I was excited because this was an opportunity to just see the city. I got there and the city was more than I could imagine. I had one problem: water. At that time, there was no such thing as bottled water. You either had water pails or you boiled your water. Now, when I ran out of the pails, I was reduced to having to drink orange soda. Now, I'm not a soda person, so you can imagine that was a little hard. But on those extremely hot days, I had to have something. So I decided to go with the orange soda. Now, I don't have to tell you this, but by the time I got back on American soil, I couldn't wait to put my face under a fountain of water and stay there forever. You will miss your water when you're dry. John 4:13-14 says, "And Jesus answered and said to her, whoever drinks of this water will thirst again. But whoever drinks of the water that I shall give him will never thirst. But the water that I shall give him will become in him a fountain of water, springing up into everlasting life." I have to ask, what are you drinking? Every day we're bombarded from the media with